What is up there, dear listener? How are we doing? Welcome back to another podcast. We're going to go straight in because we've got an interview episode today. It's just me without Forrest, but we've got an amazing guest with us. We have got the tech master, Nikolai, who is becoming Iron Man. And I'm not just saying that, he really is creating an Iron Man outfit and he is embodying the lifestyle of Tony Stark as well. He has taken the internet by storm recently. We're going to have him on this podcast very soon, talking about creating this Iron Man suit out of scraps. Quite literally, he's using the whole ethos of the first Iron Man movie as well on creating this Iron Man suit. I've got so many questions. I'm so excited to have him on the podcast. So it's going to be an incredible episode. Strap in. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are, give us a rating. If you are watching this on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe. This is going to be a great one. I'm not going to delay any further. We're going to go straight in and have a chat with the Tech Master. Let's go. Nikolai, how are we doing?
Very good. How about yourself, man? Thanks for having me on here.
Thank you so much for coming onto this podcast. It's an absolute privilege to have somebody of not only with such an amazing project, but somebody of the absolute skill you've got in mechanics is just honestly second to none. I'm really excited to talk to you, man.
Thank you.
So the best thing to do is probably start at the beginning. So how did this project start? How long have you been doing this? And start there.
Yeah, so I have been building since I was 4 years old. I started with Legos, as most people do, and I actually technically started with the wooden train tracks with like Thomas the Tank Engine, and then I evolved to Legos like when I was like 4. Built with Legos until I was about I still buy Legos, but like I stopped using Legos for like my main building material around like 12, 13, and then I started to kind of figure out like, okay, like, cardboard boxes, like I could like cut those up and, get some hot glue, manipulate that into like whatever shape and design I want. So about like 13, I was like really getting into just like, Star Wars and Marvel. And I got into Iron Man because Avengers came out in 2012. So I was like super into that. And I got into Iron Man 2012, I think over the summer. And I just I was instantly captivated by just and it's funny because I actually didn't even see like Iron Man in theaters like most people in like 2008. I got into it like 4 years late.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I watched Avengers and I just I don't know, something inside me just clicked, and it just I knew that building the suit and becoming like the real life Tony Stark was just what I needed to do. Like it was the only thing that I felt like I'm like, okay, this is who I want to become. Like I want to build the suit, I want to have the lifestyle. Like this is everything I want. Like I don't know, I aligned with it, and I've been in that ever since. So
that's amazing. I mean, what was it a part of like Iron Man that you, in terms of that connection that you had, was it kind of like the philanthropy? Was it kind of like the money, the hustle that Tony Stark embodies as well?
Yeah. So it originally started with just like the full suit, like the robotics, the engineering, because like I went into I did engineering classes in high school, which I failed miserably. I believe it or not, I did like so bad. I did computer coding, failed, engineering, failed. I even tried going to college for it was like design and composite manufacturing, and I was like already failing that within like I don't know, like a week or two. I never did well in school. I did horribly, believe it or not, in like math and algebra. And I quickly realized that if I just like taught myself things, I would be like, I can't learn from other people, but if I teach myself and I have the interest, it's like no problem. Which is just something I had to figure out my own. But yeah, no, it originally started with just like the robotics, like the Iron Man suit, like seeing like, the Mark 6 and the Mark 5 like open up and close like around his body. Like that just so like cool. I mean, that triggered something in me that I just like, I'm like, I could imagine myself building this. And it's like, okay, I started to think about, I'm like, okay, if I was to do this, how would I do it? And I quickly realized that it was possible, with today's technology, not like, of course, exactly like the movie, but pretty close, actually closer than you might think. So once I realized that, I'm like, man, I just have to do this. Like I have to be the one to bring this into reality. And later on it kind of evolved to, acquiring the lifestyle, like becoming rich, becoming a philanthropist to like help people and like help
That's
people
amazing.
across the world. And obviously to have like, a Pepper Potts, which I do have a lovely fiance. She's great. So I've already got that down.
We
I
all
got
need a
the
pepper,
playboy
yeah.
side, that's all set. But yeah, so now it's just a philanthropy, the suit and the wealth, which I mean, I have a lot of really good ideas that I think if I had the proper funding could change the world. I truly believe that. I've always had really amazing ideas that I've told people about. And they're like, oh my God, like you have to patent this. Like you have to like, get investors. I'm like, yeah, I know. But like, I have this just like unbelievable fear of people stealing my ideas, which has
Right.
actually happened quite a bit. I've had lots of people like ask me for my designs and stuff like on Instagram.
Oh,
They're like,
wow.
they DM me, they're like, hey man, could you like send me your blueprints? Like I want to like make it's like, bro, like
Yeah, that's
like if
come
I
on.
just like give it to you, it's like, but anyway, yeah, so that's kind of where all that started, which is like the engineering and robotics side of it. So
It's truly amazing, man. And I think, I mean, so we came across your Instagram page about a month ago, and I immediately had to message you because it was just, it was the other thing is, it's that you're so genuine about it as well, and it's coming from a place where you're genuinely believing this can change the world, this can help people as well, and I think Tony Stark represented that in the movies, and there is nothing to say that somebody could actually do that and create good for the actual planet that we live on, right? And it's awesome, man. Like genuinely, really is. So, like, what do you? Because I've watched your reel and that Tony Stark built this cave with a bunch of scraps. Like that is the iconic line, right?
yeah.
So, like, what type of scraps do you need to make an Iron Man suit?
So in terms of the materials, it's basically like as of right now, the suit's basically 100%. I've gotten all the parts for free because I've been
Right.
literally collecting all these parts from my local dump for like 2+ years. So
Uh-huh.
every single part and piece, besides like some screws, which I've had to buy some like precise screws, um, every part's been for free. So the entire suit basically will be completely recycled parts, which is pretty cool. You talk about
Cool.
like
That's
green,
amazing.
like recycling and everything good for the planet. Like this literally is like the closest thing you can get to that. Like I already have, technically speaking, I already have a Mark One, which I call the ITV-0. It's like a suit that I built back in 2020 during the pandemic.
Awesome.
And I used all recycled parts just laying around my house for that suit. And then I moved up here after 2020, and once I realized there was a dump like right down the street, which just lo and behold, I was able to like pick from all the guys over there. Like, oh, he's good. He can, because they all know what I do. I've told them like, they've seen my stuff on Facebook. They're like, ah, he's good. He's fine. I even
He's
have
right.
I have like these dudes who'll like come in the dump and be like, oh, anything good today? I'm like, some stuff here and there. Like, all right, I'll take your word for it. And then they'll like leave.
No.
It's just it's super funny. And I've gotten to the point where I have almost so many parts I've collected from the dump now.
Yeah.
I have enough to build probably like 2 or 3 suits. It's actually kind of scary.
Wow.
I've actually have like so many parts. I've actually had to throw stuff away because I'm like, I'm never gonna need this. Like it's like for what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing, like this part's either too big or it's like, so I have a whole shed full of parts now.
Is
I
that
mean,
arc reactor just to the left of your shoulder?
what?
Is the arc reactor just behind you there?
Yeah, that's actually so. Yeah, you can actually see my other suit in the mirror.
Mate,
Yeah,
that's
it's
amazing.
actually right next to you, right to my left, but you can actually see it in the mirror. Yeah,
That's so
so
cool. That's so. I mean, so you must need a lot of space, right? So, kind of like, is this just? Are you just building at home, or have you got like a separated like
yeah,
location?
so I when I started in 2020, I was building in my like 2-car garage, which technically speaking could hold like 4 cars, so it was like
Right.
huge. So when I moved, I had to put all my stuff in like a 20 by 30 storage unit. I didn't build for like basically like 2 years, which was like crushing for me because like that's all I've been doing for like 10 years. Um, and so I kind of like took the shed that's attached to my property and I just gutted the whole thing. Like I took
Right.
everything out of it. There were like tons of shelves in here. It was like super decrepit. Like even the floors, like I've had to do tons of work on. Um, but I took everything out and I've just like modified it to be like the perfect workspace. So I actually have right above me, I have a computer, like I have a PC mounted to my ceiling just because like I had no table space for it.
No.
I got like 2 monitors. I got a sound system with like 10 speakers wrapped around the whole room. I obviously have my Iron Man suit against the wall over there.
Amazing.
Which my mirror, I got a huge drill press from like the 1960s over here, which I
Oh my
found,
God, yeah.
as you can imagine, at the dump, which still works. And I have my whiteboard, which you can barely see, like right over here. And yeah, so I have honestly everything I need. I will admit it's a little cramped in here just because like I'm used to obviously like basically like a 4-car garage. So like kind of scaling everything down, and I'm actually gonna be building my suit right next to that mirror, right over there.
Nice.
That's where I'm gonna be displaying it. But yeah, it's a little, it's hard because I'm not able to like spread all my parts out like I used to. Like at my old house, I could literally spread the whole floor with parts and be like, I need this one today. I need this one for the foot, this one for the ankle, But here I don't have the option to do that. So I just have to like have everything in like a bunch of bins and just like know, okay, this bin has the circular pieces, this bin has like the actuators, So yeah, so it's interesting, but I work around it.
So is it just you doing the building? Do you have anybody to support you? Do you have your own Jarvis? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I am all alone, man. I have been doing stuff like solo. I record all my own content. I edit all my own content. I build everything. I'm just a one-man army with this. And it's always been that way. And I'm even where I used to live, I actually had people that could have helped me out. I had a few people actually in my old house help record a few episodes and stuff, but up here I'm it. So yeah, one-man show, dude.
Dude, that's incredible. Genuinely incredible. Like, wow. With the suits, it's you've done one before. How long does it usually take? Are you anticipating it to take longer with this one going forward? Is there any extra bits? Any advancements?
So with the old suit, I actually recorded on my iPad every single minute I worked on it. And I believe, if I recall correctly, over the course of, I think, 3 months in 2020, it took me actually a little over 3 days all together to build my last suit. So that one in the mirror over there, that took me about 3 days to make in total, like nonstop, over the course of months. So with this suit, it's going to be a lot more complex. This suit's going to be the most challenging suit I've ever designed, just because it's going to have so many different features, which I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, it's probably going to take me several months. I'm trying to build most of it in time for Open Source Expo, which is in San Francisco, California, which is like a huge maker convention.
Amazing.
So which I went to last year and brought my previous suit, which was awesome. It was great. So I'm hoping to have most of this done for that, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna have to pull a lot of sleepless nights to make it happen. So
it's incredible. Do you have to like crowdfund for this? Do you have to kind of like build any funds, or is it just kind of literally just from those free scraps that you're gathering, and it's just
yeah, it's basically from the scraps, man. Like literally the Tony Stark with a bunch of scraps. That, I mean, I'm living it. Like that's actually what I've been doing. This is the last suit I'm going to be making out of scraps. I've kind of decided that because my goal is to become so successful while building this current suit that I'm able to have the funds to invest in plasma cutter, table plasma cutter CNCs, and get to the point where I'm actually able to manufacture like my own suits with my own parts. We'll see, man, though. We'll see. I mean, I've seen a lot of support already. My last video, which I think you actually commented on, is it like 250,000 views in less than 2 days, which is my best reel actually of all time. In terms of just like engagement and just like how far it's gone up in views since I posted it. I started this journey officially on January 1st, 2025 on TikTok. And my first vlog, my first video, which was I think like 53 seconds, it got me about 6 million views in total. And I gained from it. It was amazing. I gained over 100,000 followers in less than 24 hours on TikTok, which
that is wow.
I actually documented the whole thing on another YouTube channel, which is like kind of like a secret kind of vlog channel, which I'll release later. But I literally like documented the whole thing. I was like losing my mind. I'm like, holy crap. Like, cause I was worrying. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try doing this again, because I've tried building the suits before. I've tried like, doing these series, and like life gets in the way, whether it's like
Yeah, man.
job changes or like relationships, like
Yeah.
something's always going to get in the way, man. And I reached that point where I'm like, okay, like if I don't do it now, like it's never going to happen. Like this is like the last like few years of my life, like before I get married and before I start having kids, like I have to do it now. And yeah, I put that video out there and it did tremendously well. And unfortunately, because I have a business that I'm also running as well, I kind of focused like too much on the business and I let my content slip, and all the momentum from TikTok I like lost over like 3 months, which is killing me. Cause like if I gain 100,000 followers in less than a day, I probably could have had easily 1 million by now if I had kept the consistency, which like I'm at 210 right now. I'm still doing okay. Oh, but oh my
You'll
God,
get there.
bro.
I mean, man, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely. This is the thing. You're literally living so many guys' dreams right now. Like this is like I remember watching the first Iron Man, being like, who this? I knew nothing about Marvel until I watched like Iron Man, and then seeing him and it brought such a passion, and then this kind of the teenager in me still lives in my adulthood, right? And I think all the way through, I know he's coming back, Doctor Doom now, but like we've got this wonderful character that has lived through all these different movies, all these different iterations as well.
Yeah.
And we grew with that as well. We grew with this character, and it's so rare that you get to have that in storytelling in movies. And you doing this is just, man, honestly, like this is why I'm not surprised you gained those followers that quickly, because it is literally such a feat. Do you know what I mean? It's such a huge project. It's such a huge thing to sort of take on, but then also because you're such a nice guy, like genuinely, like everybody goes, this guy's gonna do it. Like this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so. Talking about advancements, what are the new features on the suit that you're going to be building?
Oh, good Lord. So, okay. So in order for me to really put this in perspective, I'm going to go into the features of the last suit I made. So
Cool.
I guess you could call Mark 0 / ITV 0. That had a flamethrower on the right arm, which also had a shoulder rocket missile launcher on the top of the right shoulder. And then left side, I had a 4-arm missile launcher and also a Sawzall, which was able to like cut through like wooden doors and stuff.
Wow.
And then I had a power system on the back, which allowed me to light like, what is it? It's 63 or 83 watt bulbs. It was like basically like the light bulbs you see like with like the filament in your standard light socket. I was able to light those with my hand. And then I think that was basically all the features of the last suit. It wasn't, like I said, I had very little parts to work with. It was literally just stuff like I'd say 60% of the whole suit is like a snowblower. So I really used like the bare minimum in terms of parts, but I made it work. So that's why like I've kept the suit. I haven't like, taken it apart. I honestly love it. That's why I have it displayed here too. But so I had basically 4 main features, or I guess you could say 5. The new suit, the ITV 1, or I guess you could say Mark 1, is going to have I'm deciding whether we're going to be doing a Sawzall again or a chainsaw. I could do both. So either Sawzall or chainsaw or both. At least 2 rocket launchers. It's going to have 2 flamethrowers, which is going to be absolute madness. It's going to have 2 independent power systems, one consisting of a huge, like basically lead acid battery, and the other is actually going to be a gas-powered engine.
Oh my God.
It's literally going to be connected to a motor to actually generate electric power from, it's basically be like a generator, essentially.
Stop. Wow.
And then on top, as if that's not enough, I'm also going to have a hydrogen reactor in my chest. So that way I'm able to produce hydrogen, which I'll be using hopefully for the repulsors and maybe some of the launchers and stuff. And I think that's it. Besides like some basic electronics and maybe some moving parts, that's going to be pretty much the whole gist of the suit. So,
man, that is incredible. Like in terms of like testing, do you need test those out before you actually fix it onto the suit, or is
Oh,
it?
absolutely. Yeah. Intensive testing. I actually tried doing the gas power generator back in 2020 actually for my old suit, and it failed because I was using a weed whacker engine, which was like it vibrated way too much, and it was so
Right.
small, and it didn't really have any mounting points on it, so it didn't work. But I have a really nice engine now, which is like a small, I think like 1-cylinder snowblower engine, and it's like I'm able to put on my back. So I mean,
Well,
it's going on the suit. So
that's amazing.
that should be awesome. Like I said, I've wanted to do that for the last like 5 years now. So now that I'm actually able to do it, it's going to be just, I mean, so cool. I'm so excited for that.
Wow.
Then,
That's great.
yeah.
No, yeah, go on, carry on. Sorry.
And then I guess if you could like count this as a feature, the whole thing's going to have like an exoskeletal frame. So the weight will be distributed through my body and through all the joints and stuff. So that way, like I won't be kind of carrying it more so on my shoulders, which is what kind of happened with the last suit. The last suit actually did a pretty good job of dispersing the weight, but it was still very heavy. It was almost impossible. It honestly, at this point, it kind of is impossible to put on just because it's like I've had to take it apart several times to move it, and it's just like, it's at the point now where it's just for like display only. But this suit, I'm going to be entering actually the suit from the, I guess the front, whereas this suit I actually entered from the back. So with that suit, I had to open flaps and then walk through the back of it. This suit's going to be the opposite. So it's going to be like the, I guess you could say Mark 42 and Iron Man 3, where he can fall into it and it will like wrap around the front. That's going to be this suit.
Yeah.
So, one more thing actually. So I'm going to try to do this. I don't know if I'll succeed. But the, I guess, last feature of the suit, which I'm going to try to do, is artificial muscles. Because I have 2 motors that I'm going to be hopefully putting on the elbows. So that way I'll be able to actually have like power assisted lifting, which would be, I mean, that's an exosuit for you. So,
wow.
I know I can do it. It's just a matter of like have everything fit and work perfectly, because a chainsaw is going to, it's so funny just talking about this, but the chainsaw is going to take out a little bit of room. So, if I can squeeze everything in, I'll do power assisted muscles. So we'll see though. So
that's incredible. So we're working towards this convention with the suit. Is there plans to kind of then like put that on display, take that on tour, like to like other conventions, show the kind of the mastery as well around the work and the efforts that you put around it?
So in terms of the convention, like I'll be probably making a custom display for it. Last year they actually luckily had like a fence that kind of strapped my old suit to and just kind of strapped in the fence, which actually worked out pretty well. This suit is going to be very heavy, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that this time. So I might have to make like a custom wooden frame and kind of have that be its display. Just because like if I have time to put the gas powered engine on the back, that'll add a lot of weight. They'll add like probably 20 pounds at least. Right. So yeah, this suit will be a lot heavier. I'm estimating the suit itself will probably be around like 200 pounds. With me, I'm at like 175. So that's like you're close to 400 pounds in total. So it'll be very heavy.
Wow. Oh God, but it's gonna be amazing. That's what it's gonna be. Gosh. So with like the philanthropy side of things, kind of what's your eye on that in terms of that's the Iron Man suit. Now it's the Tony Starkisms in terms of the way that it works around that. What's your plan around all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So over the last few years, I've come to the conclusion that I can't truly become a philanthropist unless I become successful first, which is kind of self-explanatory. You can't be, you can't help people if you can't help yourself. So I have come to the conclusion that the Iron Man suit and me building the suit is my key to success. I've known this for years. I've known this since I was like 13 years old. Like I've always known, this is why like I also didn't do well in school, because I knew that school wasn't going to give me what I wanted. And neither was just a standard job or like a standard college. Like I couldn't do what I wanted to do in those avenues. And I always knew this, and it created a lot of problems for me growing up because my parents were always like, what college do you want to go to? Like, what courses do you want to take? I'm like, it doesn't exist, like I can't learn what I need to learn through standard education. And it's taking me a long time to figure out, like, first of all, just get comfortable with just how I'm so different than the standard quo, or status quo, I guess you could say. because most people, go to high school and go to college and get a job and that's it, most
Yeah.
people. I just have never fit into that category. So I've just had to figure out like, okay, like I want to become Iron Man. What does that mean? Do I just want to have a suit? Do I want to help people? It's like, I want to do all the above. It's like, okay, so how are we going to help people? Like if we're going to just build a suit. So I've done a lot of tests and my suit, my content, it does very well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So if I can find a way to just monetize my content or make it so that way I'm able to get sponsors and get income either through like TikTok shop or avenues such as that, or my own product line, and really focus on that, I feel like I'll be in a position where I'm able to, help myself and help people around me. But the suit is the key. I've said this for years. I've recorded this in several videos. The suit is the key to my success. I will die on that hill. Like it is the only thing that makes sense, and it's the only thing that I know guarantees my success. And I've proven it actually several times. With my content last summer, because I tried doing this exact same thing last year, which it went really well at first, and then I went to California, and then I had to switch jobs coming back because I was like super broke after my trip. I had to switch jobs, and I had to like halt my content, and that like pause like destroyed my momentum, and I had to start like all over again in January. So I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I have this momentum. I can't stop now. Like I can't stop, or else like I won't be successful. I won't be able to, help people. So the philanthropy is very much tied to how well I do on my own accord, and the business side of things as well, which my business is Navtech Enterprises. It's basically focused on, it's basically a holding company for brands. So, brand management, that kind of deal. So I'm trying to focus more on that. I focused too much on it this past spring, which took me away from my building, which like, it's a happy medium. I have to like balance all of it, which is challenging. Like I said, it's really not easy, man. This is like such a challenge. And like I said, I'm all alone with this. I don't have like a mentor. I don't have someone like, holding my hand and giving me direction. Like I'm it. So, everything I learned is trial and error. But I learned a lot. So it does pay off. So
we need to get Robbie Downey Jr. in contact with you, don't we? We need to get our DJ here.
that would be awesome. That'd be sick.
That'd be so cool. I mean, with at the rate that you're going, I mean, it's bound to happen. Like, cause it's just, honestly, it's so cool. With Marvel, with our DJ, and kind of talking about kind of the MCU kind of movies, because we're a movie review podcast predominantly, but we do lots of interviews like this, and we talk about actors, backstage actors, crew, all those people that are in MCU enterprises as well. What are your thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. coming back, but not as Iron Man, but
I'm honestly really excited to see his iteration of Doctor Doom. I've always been a fan of Doctor Doom because again, he's basically anti-Iron Man. Like, I mean, and it's just like I've seen some of the comics, and he just seems so fierce and ruthless, almost like on a different level than like Thanos. Like he just like, because Thanos at least like I guess had he kind of had a plan, and they just like once he snapped everything and like everything leveled out, he just like left and like retired and just like tended to his garden. So it's just like he basically just like all right, that's all I wanted to do. Now I'm gone. And it's actually like in a sense, it's like kind of fair. Like I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, it's like actually insane to like wipe everything out. But Doctor Doom, like I don't know, like I don't know, like. I don't know. I'm really excited to see his iteration though, because I know again, Robert Downey Jr. is a phenomenal actor. He's gonna pull it off in a way that we probably can't even imagine. I'm also curious to see how his suit's gonna look like. I really am curious because I've heard rumors that they're gonna use the Mark I mask as like the foundation for his Doctor Doom mask. I want to know if that's gonna happen, because that would be, I mean, that would be so sick if they did that.
It would be so cool. I've seen a picture where it's literally the Mark I mask, but with then just the Von Doom just then merged around it with the Doctor Doom kind of stuff. Yeah. It looks flipping cool. It looks really cool. I mean, that looks so cool.
Because like, and honestly, like Tony Stark's like his whole, agenda in the Avengers and Iron Man movies was to, like, again, like, we saw this in Age of Ultron, create a suit of armor around the world, protect
Mm,
humanity from the threat, which came, and it did happen. It
mm.
actually was there the whole time. He just was the only one that was, again, cursed with that knowledge, and nobody understood it until it unfortunately happened. So,
Yeah.
when he said, like, same task, new mask, or new mask, same, I forget the order of operation. When he said that, it's like, okay, so he's going to, is he going to try to do like the same thing and like try to protect the world, but in a way that's like, you know, insane? Like, is that
Yeah.
was, when he said like same task, it's like, okay, so what is the task? Is it like
Mm.
protecting humanity? Is it creating like a whole bunch of suits? Like, so I'm curious to see what that's going to be. And how he's
100%.
going to, you know,
Yeah, like they wouldn't have made, because when it was originally, first announced, everybody was like, "Oh my God, Marvel are like clutching at straws here. They're just getting their OG guy back in because
yeah,
they're struggling with box office hits and stuff." But
mm,
no, they wouldn't have asked RDJ, and RDJ wouldn't have accepted if
yeah,
there was not a good story at the table, right? So
yeah,
there must be a really compelling story here that's going to be told in the coming years. And
yeah,
I think you're right. I think there is something about this kind of the the overall objective, the arching story of Iron Man with the end, like the juxtaposing then version of that with Victor Von
mm,
Doom. And I
yeah,
think that, like, at the end of the day, they do see themselves as these kind of, they are, might not be the right way for Doctor Doom, but he sees himself as his protector too. So it's kind
yeah,
of like the wrong way about it. And I'm really, honestly, I mean, it's going to be great. But like I like you say, like I'm hoping there'll be so many nods to Tony Stark and Iron
mm,
Man through the outfit, through the suits, that can then just sort of like be thrown into a Doctor Doom kind of
yeah.
like lens. Yeah. So with MCU, do you have a favorite movie? So we're talking about Avengers Assemble. Is that your favorite?
Oh yeah, Avengers, Marvel's Avengers 2012. That it
Yeah.
just the perfect film. I'm sorry, like that film, like it did so much in terms of just like my whole journey. Like it was like the spark that started everything. Like seeing Tony Stark get thrown off Stark Tower by Loki, and he's literally
Yeah.
plummeting towards the New York's freaking ground. His Mark 7 shoots out of the wall, flies down, wraps itself around him, and he flies away. Like, bro, you're like, that is just like, that's perfect, like, comic cinema. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how else to describe it. Like, the first Iron Man film, like, I do love to death. Like, that film is just amazing. But it was very serious, and it was also the beginning of things, so they didn't really know how that was going to like turn out. And you can kind of see that with the film. They took it very seriously. There
Mm.
wasn't like joking or very, um, so that, but it was revolutionary. It started all of it, and the Mark
Yeah.
One suit was designed. It was amazing. The story was awesome. Like the whole twist of the Obadiah was just, again, classic. And then Iron Man 2 was also pretty good. I do have a few gripes with that movie. I wish that, the ends, like, final battle with Whiplash was longer, just because like
Yeah.
he was a very well built villain, and it made so much sense to why he wanted to, like, destroy Tony Stark.
Mm.
And I just wish that, like, that kind of lasted longer. It was over
Yeah.
very quickly. And also Hammer Tech, that was all, like, I'm so glad they had all that in there. They had like
So good.
two good villains in there. Um, and but yeah, I mean, that was also, again, like, right up there with Iron Man. But like Avengers had, it was like, it tied, again, all these different movies together in one nice little, with nice, like a nice bow. It just
Yeah.
perfectly tied everything together. And again, they gave Tony Stark the spotlight of, like, again, saving the whole city, from the nuclear missile. And it just, like, and it was a perfect parallel to, like, how he, seemed like arrogant and selfish, but in the end he was selfless. And that,
Hmm.
again, is a perfect mirror to Endgame. Like, it just, I mean, bro, like, it's just perfect. Like, I
It
have
is.
no complaints
It's
with that
brilliant.
film, like, at all. Nick Fury, the helicarriers were so sick to see on screen for the first time. Yeah, it was just, I have literally no issues with it. It was just
Yeah.
great. So that's
It
my favorite.
I mean, it inspired a whole generation of superhero films. Like you
Yeah.
can't, and you can't argue that as well in terms of the way that it was put together and the way that they managed to introduce stories of these superheroes in their own movies and then bring them into a collective of a story that then built to something really climactic like that. And it just, you don't get lightning in a bottle moments like this in cinema. And I think when we celebrate it from now being in the, way into the future from that, but like, it's now it's got a legacy with it, like,
Yeah,
and
it
here
really
you are building an Iron Man suit. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's, isn't it incredible? Like, those types of movies can then really move people into action in their own personal journeys and whatever they decide to do and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it into perspective, like a single film has literally, how do I put this? A single film has led me to spend half of my existence on this planet to building a suit of armor that I feel is just my destiny. Like, that's like a movie, dude. Like, a single film, like, has caused me to spend half my life dedicated to making it a reality. Like, that is, like, you can't explain that kind of passion and effect and power. Like, that's crazy, dude. And it's just with like my suit and everything, like, as I'm sure you can kind of tell, like in the first my most recent video, in the first clip, I spent like that whole morning motorizing the faceplate for the helmet. And I've actually created like my own character, because of course, like, everybody's built. The thing is after 2020, I noticed this like kind of spike, and it's still kind of going up, of people building Iron Man suits, and 3D printing is now completely mainstream. So, it's not rare to see someone 3D print an Iron Man suit anymore. It's very common, actually. I know at least dozens of people that do it. So I've kind of taken that into effect, and I've decided that like I want to be kind of my own character, because I am truly living my own story. Like, everything I'm going through, everything that like I've done, like it's been, it's not Tony Stark, it's me, but I'm taking like the same idea and implementing it into my life. So what I'm doing with building the suit and my whole journey is really telling my own story, and the helmet reflects that. It's a completely different design that you'd see in Iron Man. I spent years trying to figure out what exactly I wanted it to look like, and now I have it down to a science. You'll notice like instead of calling my suits like like Iron Man Mark 1, like they're the ITV one. So they're like, I still include Iron Man just for like SEO, just sort of just sort of like, because like you're not going to look up ITV1 on Instagram or YouTube. You're going to look up Iron Man. So I make sure to like I'm doing this from now on. I'm like putting it like Iron Man Mark 1, and then like in parentheses ITV1, just so like it's in there. It's setting it for the future, because eventually people are going to know what this is. But yeah, I'm truly making my own character with it, and I mean, so much more. I could talk to you for days about this, which I would love to do another podcast. This is great,
100%.
Because I have a community as well, which I'm now rebooting. They started in 2020. I'm rebooting it this year, full of people just like me who I actually found during the pandemic, when everyone was isolated and like stuck in their houses and had nothing else to do, and I'm like, this is awful. I'm like, this sucks. So I gotta do something.
I've got to do something. Got to do something. Yeah.
And this is kind of like my philanthropy side kicked in. I'm like, I'm gonna create a community of people like myself who have literally nowhere to go. They don't have school. They don't have anything. They can't go anywhere. They're stuck in their house, and we're gonna come together and just do some awesome stuff. So I made a community. It has like, I think like 130 people in it as of right now. And they're all makers like me. They all build and do amazing things. So I'm rebooting that this year too, because that's basically like my Avengers, like here on Earth. Like, that is like my team. Like, there's people, like I have a person for like everything. Anything you can imagine, I have a person for. So, yeah. So, I mean, dude, there's so much I'm working on. I just know that if like I build this suit, have a way to monetize it, become successful, I mean, sky's the limit. So
amazing, man. Just to kind of wrap all of this up with a wonderful bow, because it's such a brilliant way to finish it as well. But the last question I've got is, what kind of advice would you give to anyone, particularly anybody that might be within your community, to kind of, might not be necessarily doing something like this, but might be something as big as this? What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say that don't get caught in the riptide of life. Life is a funny way of pulling you away from things you care about. And I would say that the most important thing is to never forget. Never forget your journey, never forget your passion, and never forget your dream. That is the best advice I could possibly give, because again, there are going to be relationships you're going to see come and go. There's going to be people you'll see come and go, jobs that you'll, be in and out of. And that's just the story of life. And all those things are going to try to pull you away from your dreams and your passion. And it will try very hard. And you just have to never forget. And I've learned that the hard way. And I guess if that's one piece of advice I could give, that would be the most important. That, and I'll include one other just for shits and giggles. I guess my other piece of advice is it is up to you and only you to shift your life to where you want it to be. You have to take your destiny into your own hands. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to ask you to. You have to decide. You have to make the choice to change your life, because that choice can give you an entirely new reality than what you're currently living in. And it's really funny to mention this, because I actually predicted my own success on January 1st. I literally made a whole video. I shaved my head, dude. I said that after I predicted it. I predicted it, but you could argue that I also chose it too, because again, and I said this in later videos, that whole reality was one choice away from not happening, just as it was from happening. All it would have taken is, oh, I'm going to go to bed tonight, or, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And it never would have happened. 6 million views, 100,000 followers in less than a day. That never would have happened if I just made one different choice. So, again, choices are life-changing. And they come with great value, and they come with great weight, and it's not something to be taken lightly. So, those are my two biggest pieces of advice I could probably give.
So eloquently put, and just brilliant advice. So thank you for that. That's awesome. Nikolai, it's been an absolute privilege having you on this podcast, man. You're a wonderful guy, and you've got an incredible project, and you are the guy to build this success as well. And I have absolute faith in you. You're going to smash this. And thank you for being on this podcast. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, man. Please give me a copy. I'll look over this again.
100%. Where can we find you? In terms of like socials, anything like that, or anything else you'd like to say?
So my social medias are all the same. So it's the.techmaster on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok, and I guess also I guess you could say on Facebook too. So I have the same handle for everything. So if you just look up the.techmaster, and then if you can't find me, like look up Iron Man after, you'll find me. So yep.
Amazing. Thank you so much, dude. You have a great rest of your day. All right. Thank you, man.
No problem, man. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. And you.